Happy New Year. While many people are committing to a resolution, a Post Falls couple is committing to one another after receiving heartbreaking news.
It is my sincere pleasure to introduce you to the happy couple, Mr. and Mrs. Thomas and Rebecca Walker.
We'll see one more day of dry weather across the inland Northwest, but it looks like a wintry mix on the way for Thursday.
And though it wasn't a victorious day for the Huskies at the Rose Bowl, the Northwest was still well represented at the game. Brenna has details in sports. Welcome and Happy New Year. I'm Alexa Block. Mark and Whitney are off tonight. After a dry couple of days in the inland Northwest, we might see some wet weather coming up. Let's send it right on over to meteorologist Michelle Boss on the Weather Center. Michelle?
And we do have some wet weather in the forecast, but not till Thursday morning, so you still have one more day of relatively quiet weather and clear roads to deal with in the inland Northwest. Taking a look at satellite and radar, we've got partly to mostly cloudy skies out there. Just kind of depends on where you are. Spokane has actually seen some clearing over the last couple of hours. Coeur d'Alene's got partly cloudy skies and overcast conditions across north central, northeastern Washington and much of the Idaho Panhandle. So temperatures where you're getting the clearing are a little bit colder. So 30 in Omak, they're overcast, 21 in Moses Lake where it's been clear, down to 19 in Deer Park right now, and in the mid-20s right now for Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. We should be bottoming out in the lower 20s overnight, kind of in and out of the clouds there. 23 degrees by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Roads should be in great condition with mostly cloudy skies. You've got to head out early tomorrow morning. Mostly cloudy skies for the afternoon and another cold day with a high of 33, and it looks like the wintry mix arrives on Thursday morning.
My bridesmaids and friends and family have really been like, what do you need? Like, I'm just like, I honestly don't care, don't want to make decisions. Y'all plan a wedding you think I'll like, and I'm not going to complain.
A Post Falls couple rang in the new year by saying their I do's. They had less than a week to plan the wedding after learning the bride's father may not make it until their planned September ceremony. The community, friends, and family came together and made sure it happened. KREM 2's Amanda Rowley has the story.
What better way to start the new year than by saying I do to the one you love the most?
Think of a better way to start the first day of the new year than with the blessing of a marriage surrounded by those you love.
He always like livens me up, keeps me upbeat and happy, and not like super uptight. And I couldn't ask for a better best friend.
Rebecca Alexander and Thomas Walker read their vows during a small ceremony before their closest family and friends.
You know what to say or do to calm me down, to cheer me up.
The wedding couldn't have gone any smoother. The dress was perfect and the decorations romantic. It's like you couldn't even tell they had less than a week to plan.
Mr. and Mrs. Thomas and Rebecca Walker.
You go from like, oh, we're getting married in 9 months to, oh, we have 1 week.
The Post Falls couple originally planned to tie the knot this fall. But just days before Christmas, Rebecca learned terrible news about her dad.
He has a glioblastoma, that's a butterfly tumor in his brain. And it's inoperable and untreatable as far as we know. First few days were really rough. It was almost kind of like mourning the diagnosis, but you know, for me, I'm just like, you know, nothing's happened. Like, treat it and him as you would it of any other day.
Unsure of the time they have left, Rebecca knew she wanted the memory of her dad walking her down the aisle. So they decided to have the wedding on New Year's Day.
Well, when you get some unfortunate news, you gotta roll with the punches.
The Post Falls community has grown to know and love the Alexander family over the years. So when it came to making this day possible, there was no hesitation.
You're just so overwhelmed with everyone's thoughtfulness and love. It's honestly kind of been a blessing that we've been able to do this, you know? Have that memory and him be able to do that. I love you and thanks for all you've done, and I'm so excited I get to walk with you.
The couple still plans to have their originally planned ceremony in September. Tonight, though, they're thanking the Post Falls community for helping them put together their wedding so quickly. The new year means new laws, from health care to your pets. In Washington, one of the more controversial changes is people under 21 are no longer able to buy semi-automatic rifles. Voters approved the measure in November. The state is also cracking down on the misuse of service animals. If you misrepresent your pet as a service animal, it can cost you up to $500. And there's a big change for hospitals too. Patients will now be able to look up how much medical procedures will cost. It is part of a federal rule requiring hospitals to be transparent. Part of this is to let patients know the cost of everything from Band-Aids to heart surgery. Advocates for consumers say it will still be hard to know the exact price of what the procedure will cost because of insurance, deductibles, and other factors. Starting today in Idaho, all first-time DUI offenders are required to install an interlock device in their vehicles. Before, those devices were required only for repeat offenders. According to AAA of Idaho, most DUI offenders have driven under the influence before. The first offense is just the first time they got caught. Now to a developing story out of western Washington. Police found 3 bodies outside a home in Port Angeles. They say they were there for a welfare check. The medical examiner has not identified the bodies. The sheriff's office is calling the deaths suspicious and investigating them as homicides, but at this point they're saying it's an isolated incident. Just hours before the start of the new year, President Trump signed a new law creating a national alert system for missing or endangered adults. The Ashanti Alert will be used for people who are too old for an Amber Alert and too young for a Silver Alert. It's named after 19-year-old Ashanti Billy, who was abducted in Virginia in 2017 and found dead a few days later. Police did not send out an emergency alert because of her age. The Ashanti Alert will work like other national systems and send a message to your phone about missing or endangered adults in your region. Early this morning, U.S. Border Patrol agents launched tear gas at migrants trying to cross the U.S.-Mexico border at Tijuana. Clouds of noxious gas could be seen coming from around the fence at the border. One immigrant picked up a canister and threw it back across the border into U.S. territory. The recent deaths of 2 migrant children in U.S. custody have fueled the debate over U.S. immigration policy. This as President Donald Trump holds on to his demand that lawmakers give him $5 billion to build a border wall.
We have to have a wall as part of border security, and we're working on it.
President Donald Trump says the federal government will remain shut down until he gets money for the border wall. House Democrats unveiled 2 bills this week, but neither include the $5 billion the president wants to build the wall. Meanwhile, the largest federal union representing government employees is suing the government. Hundreds of thousands of federal workers are currently working without pay. They won't get their paychecks until the shutdown ends. The American Federation of Government Employees is suing, saying it's illegal for some employees to work with no pay. It's day 11 for the partial government shutdown, and time is running out for the Smithsonian. The world's largest museum complex will close its doors Wednesday to visitors, and the live zoo animal cams will go dark. According to its website, the Smithsonian has been operating since the shutdown through funds from previous years, but right now they're running out.
To close down culture and the arts for people, to affect people's paychecks and their salaries, it makes me a little uncomfortable as an American citizen.
There are signs that will go up tomorrow telling visitors the Smithsonian's museums will be closed due to the shutdown, and as the political stalemate continues, it's unclear when they might reopen. It's an unlikely friendship after a wedding ring is found inside a kitchen appliance. We'll explain next.